we are talking about the verb to grow up. And we're going to compare it with the verb to grow. A lot of people get confused with these two verbs because they both use the verb grow, but grow up is actually different from grow. To grow only describes something becoming bigger or longer or taller. For example, we can say, your son has really grown. This means that your son has got bigger. We also say grow about plants. We can say, corn grows in this field. Or we can say that it's an action that a farmer does to a crop, like he grows corn. But grow up describes when you become more mature. It describes changing from a child to an adult. So we could not say, I want to be a firefighter when I grow. We need to say, I want to be a firefighter when I grow up. I hope that helps you understand the difference between grow up and grow. We're talking about two phrasal verbs, to check in and to check out. To check in usually is about registering somewhere. So for example, you get to the airport and you need to check in. They even might have a check-in desk or a check-in counter. To check in basically means to tell someone that you are there or that you're ready. You might also check in at a hotel. Logically, check out is the opposite. You tell someone that you are leaving or that you're ready to leave. So if you're leaving a hotel, you can say, I'm checking out of room 204. Check out also has another meaning. Check out means to try something and to see if you like it or to see if it's good. Or sometimes we use check out just to mean something like look or try. So we might say, check out my videos on YouTube. Check out what Mike did, and a lot of other phrases. If we're at a shop, we could also use check out like pay. So if you're walking around the supermarket, you get all of the food that you want, and you go to pay, you can say that you are going to check out. You're standing in line at checkout. I hope that helps you understand check in and check out. Today's phrasal verb is to call on. To call on is to ask for someone's support, or to tell someone that they should do something. It's like to push someone into action. So for example, maybe the president of a country makes a big mistake, and all of the people want him to be impeached. That means they want him to lose his job. So we could say, the people called on the government to impeach the president. Usually after the phrasal verb to call on someone, we use to describe why they called on them. For example, the other teachers couldn't explain the word, so the students called on me to explain it. Today's phrasal verb is to take up. And specifically, we're going to use this phrasal verb about new activities. That's right, take up means do a new activity or start doing a new activity. So for example, we can say, he wanted to get healthier, so he took up yoga. I wanted to try a more active sport. That's why I took up basketball. Now, it's not only about sports and physical exercise. It could really be about any activity. When he retired, he took up writing. What activities have you taken up recently? Write a comment under this video and let me know. Today we're talking about the phrasal verb to come around. Come around has three different meanings that we're going to talk about today. The first one is just physical movement. Come means to move near someone, the speaker. And around, well, like a circle. So for example, if you're in the front yard of the house and I'm in the backyard, I might tell you, come around, meaning go in a circle around the house until you come to where I am. The second meaning of come around could be to go to a place unexpectedly or without a plan. For example, we might tell a person, you should come around sometime. This means you should visit me. This means you should visit me, but it doesn't tell us an exact day or time. We might say, have you seen Mike recently? And a person might tell us, he comes around sometimes, which means that he visits from time to time, but we don't have a particular day or time or schedule for his visits. The third meaning of come around is when someone changes their opinion to agree with us. So for example, who wants to eat Mexican food tonight? Mike doesn't want to now, but I'm sure he'll come around. So this means that I'm sure later he will change his mind. Today's phrasal verb is to come forward with. If we say that someone comes forward with something, it means that he gives information or he gives a secret to someone, usually the police or some kind of authority figure. So for example, the police might say, "There was a robbery last night, and we have a reward for anyone who comes forward with information about the robbery." It really means that they step out of the crowd and they come to the police. The trial was almost over when a new witness came forward with evidence. We often use this phrasal verb when we're talking about crime and criminality. Today's phrasal verb is to bring on, and usually to bring something on. To bring something on really means to cause something to happen. For example, the children's jokes brought on a lot of embarrassment. Like, the children's jokes caused a lot of embarrassment. We also use this phrasal verb in the passive voice quite often. For example, the riots were brought on by the new law passed by the government. Another meaning of bring on is like to challenge. Instead of telling someone, "Challenge me," or "Try to beat me," we could say, "Bring it on," like test me or try me. So if you have any questions about this phrasal verb, bring them on in the comments below. We're talking about the phrasal verb to hang up. Now, maybe you know the verb to hang, which means to put something over another thing, usually so that it stays in the air, not touching the floor. Well, hang up is not about that. No, wait, hang up has more than one meaning. Like most phrasal verbs, one meaning of hang up is to put something on another object so it doesn't touch the floor. For example, when you get out of the shower, make sure you hang up your towel. But the second meaning of hang up is much different. It's about talking on the phone. When you want to end the conversation on the phone, you can say that you hang up. I was still talking when he hung up. In most places, it's considered very rude to hang up while someone is speaking to you, or before the conversation has finished. In English, when people want to hang up, there are a lot of different phrases that they can use. They can say bye, they can say talk to you later, they can say take care, and a number of other phrases. What do people say in your country when they want to hang up? Tell me in the comments below. Make sure you press like and press subscribe. We're talking about the phrasal verb to call off. In another video, we already talked about call on, but today we're going to talk about call off. To call something off or to call someone off means that we had a plan of some action that needed to happen, and we want to cancel the plan. Yeah, to call something off means to cancel. So for example, we could say, we had a meeting scheduled for 5 o'clock this afternoon, but it was called off. We usually use this when we talk about canceling events or activities that are planned in advance. We could also call someone off if we gave them an order to do something and we want to tell them that they don't need to complete the order. For example, the general sent in 10,000 troops, only to call them off the next day. I hope that helps you understand the phrasal verb to call off. Make sure you press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment under the video. We're talking about the phrasal verb to come across something. If we say that we came across something, it means we discovered it or we found it. We might also use come across to mean find out about something or learn some information. When he came across my videos, he subscribed immediately. If you come across something that you don't understand, leave me a comment and I'll tell you what it means. Come across might also be used in a different context. Come across can describe how you deliver a message. For example, he tried to be nice, but he came across as aggressive. Someone might tell you, I was just trying to help. And you might tell them, that's not how it came across. Like, I didn't understand it that way, or it seemed different to me. I hope that helps you understand the phrasal verb to come across. Make sure you press like, press subscribe, and leave a comment under this video. We're talking about the phrasal verb to cut back or to cut down on something. To cut back on something and to cut down on something are basically the same. They both mean that we want to do something less. Maybe eat some specific food less, maybe do a specific activity less. In any case, do something less frequently. So we might say, I'm trying to cut back on chocolate. That means that I usually eat more than I'm eating now, and I'm eating less now because I'm trying to be healthy or for some other reason. We might also use the word cut back as a noun to describe doing something less or spending less money. We might say, the president proposed more cutbacks, meaning that something will happen less, or that less money will be spent on something. A lot of people are trying to cut down on fatty foods. When they go on a diet, they eat less fatty foods. What about you? Are you trying to cut down or cut back on anything? Leave me a comment under the video and tell me what you're cutting down on. We're talking about the phrasal verb to bring up, and specifically to bring something up. So first of all, let's talk about just the verb to bring up. This has several different meanings. The first meaning is to raise a child. We can say, she's an experienced mother. She has brought up 3 children. This means that she helped them grow, she supported them, she raised them. But the second meaning of bring up is completely different. We can say, he brought up a new idea at the meeting. In this case, to bring something up means to mention it, or to speak about it briefly. In every video, I try to bring up 1 or 2 examples. When we're speaking or discussing something with someone, we might say, I'm glad you brought that up because I wanted to speak about it. It's like, I'm happy that you started speaking about this topic. If there's anything that you want to bring up with me, you can write a comment under this video. We're talking about the phrasal verb to warm up. So probably you have some idea about what this means. Usually we say warm something up when we put it in the microwave or on the oven. First the food is cold and then you need to warm it up. We might also warm somebody up. For example, if it's snowing outside and you come inside, you might be feeling a little cold. If you wrap a blanket around you, you can warm yourself up. So really, warm up describes when you change from being cold to being warm. But there's also another way that we can use this phrasal verb. We can say to warm up to somebody. This has a little bit of a different meaning. We usually say this when we don't know a person and we have a lot of reservations about speaking to them. So we want to put some distance between ourselves and the person we don't know. We don't tell them a lot of information about ourselves. Maybe we don't feel safe with them. But when you warm up to someone, it means that you changed from being distant or being cold to being closer and warmer. So really, to warm up to someone means to open up to someone or to become closer or to share more emotions with someone. For example, when I first met John, I thought he was a cold fish, but it only took a week for him to warm up to me. What about you? Do you warm up to people quickly or does it take you a while? Let me know in the comments down below. We're talking about the phrasal verb to fall apart. Now this phrasal verb can be a little confusing because it's not really about falling. To fall apart has 2 meanings. The first meaning, direct meaning, is when something breaks into pieces. You probably know that the word part is like piece. And to fall apart is to break so that there are many different pieces of one thing. We can say, as soon as I bit into the cookie, it fell apart. But fall apart also has a second meaning. To fall apart means to stop functioning properly or stop working correctly. For example, when he stopped participating, his project fell apart. It means that it stopped working. We're talking about the phrasal verb to put someone out. And in general, if we talk about the phrasal verb to put out, there are a lot of different meanings. We can put out a fire, which means that we stop the fire. You can use this also about cigarettes. You can't smoke inside, put those cigarettes out. We might also say to put gifts out. For example, at Christmas, the parents wanted to put the gifts out before the children woke up. This means to put something in a place where you can easily see it, or to put it on display. To put out also has a slang meaning, and not a very good one either. It means to participate in some kind of sexual activity. But today, most of all, we want to talk about to put someone out. To put someone out means to inconvenience them, to make a situation that isn't very good for them, but they need to help. So for example, your friend called you to help, and you come to your friend's house, and your friend says, "Thank you so much for coming. I hope I didn't put you out." It means I hope I didn't cause problems for you. I hope I didn't inconvenience you. We're talking about the phrasal verb to look up. What? Yeah, to look up could be like to look up. But usually we use this phrasal verb to mean something completely different. To look up means to find information in a database. Now, there are a lot of different databases that we use every day. For example, the internet, maybe a phone book. Even a dictionary can be considered some kind of database. A dictionary contains lots of words, lots of information. And if you don't know a word, you should look it up in the dictionary. So look up means something like find the information in the database. If you don't know what time a movie is playing at the cinema, you can look it up on the website of the cinema. We might also change this phrasal verb and say look somebody up. This means get information about a person or find contact information for this person. So for example, maybe your friend asked you to get information about a man named Fred Johnson. And your friend says, "Hey, did you find anything?" And you say, "I looked up Fred Johnson and I only found a phone number." We're talking about the phrasal verb to come up with. If we say that someone comes up with something, this means that he creates it or invents it. But it's not only about famous inventors and creators, it's about everyone, you and me too. Anything that we create, especially with our minds, we can say that we came up with it. To come up with something, it's like creating the idea behind something. So maybe you're having a discussion at work and you can say, "I came up with a great plan." Or you might ask your colleagues, "Did you come up with anything?" We might also use come up with like answer something, like to provide a solution to a problem. Concerning what we discussed last time, I came up with something I think you're really going to like. If you come up with anything that you want to communicate to me, feel free to write a comment under this video. We're talking about the phrasal verb to work out. Now this phrasal verb has a lot of different meanings. We're going to try to talk about some of the main ones. First of all, to work out can be to do physical exercise, to try to get healthier. So for example, we can say, he went to the gym and worked out for an hour. This means he did physical exercise. Where do you work out? Do you go to a gym or do you work out at home? Another meaning of workout can be to find the answer to a problem, especially when we're talking about math. We might ask, what is 72 divided by 5? And you say, 1 second, I need to work it out. To work out can also mean to be successful or to successfully happen. For example, how was the party last weekend? You know what? The party didn't happen. It just didn't work out. In general, we can use workout like to happen. Okay, let's have the party next weekend. And after the party, we'll all go to the beach. First, let's see how the party works out. In this example, workout is like happen or to have a result. As we said before, workout can be about math problems and it can be about other problems too. If John and Fred have a problem with each other, we can tell them, "Hey guys, you need to work your problems out," like you need to find a solution to your problems. We're talking about give back, take back, and bring back. Now all three of these phrasal verbs are pretty much the same thing, but the main verb that we use with them is different. Give, take, and bring. If we give something back, it means that it goes from us to another person. If we take something back, it describes moving from one location back to the shop with an item that we want to return. And if we say bring something back, it describes arriving at the location where we will return the item. In general, we can use all of them about the same situations. We just need to understand the difference between give, take, and bring. We have a lot of phrasal verbs in English that we use with the word back. Sometimes it has different meanings, but in this case, all three verbs have the same meaning. Back means to return something to a person or a place or an organization. If someone takes my watch, I can say, "Hey, give me my watch back." If I buy a watch at a shop, and when I get home I notice that it's not working, I can take the watch back to the shop. And if I call the shop and say, "Hey, my watch isn't working," they might tell me, "Okay, bring it back to the shop." We're talking about the phrasal verb to hold on or to hold up. To hold on and to hold up have very similar meanings. They both describe waiting. In general, we understand that hold is like to keep something in one position. And if you keep it in the same position, then this thing cannot move forward. It's waiting. We use these verbs especially when we need to tell someone to pause and to continue later. So for example, you're on the phone and you need to give the phone to another person. You can say, hold on 1 moment and I will transfer you. Or maybe you're having a conversation with someone and you need them to pause so that you can say something. You can say, hold on 1 second, let me answer. Or maybe you're talking on the phone and someone approaches you and starts talking to you. You can say, hold on, what do you need? We should make sure that we don't confuse the phrasal verb to hold on with the phrasal verb to hold on to. They have very different meanings. To hold on to something means to hold it in your hand very tightly and not let it go. But hold on just means wait. We're talking about the phrasal verb to grow apart. Now we've already discussed what grow means and what grow up means. Today we're talking about a different grow phrasal verb. The particle apart describes pieces or parts. So if we say to grow apart, it means that two people become separate parts. Usually two people who were considered one before. This might be in a romantic relationship. This might be in a friendly relationship. It could describe all different types of relationships. But at one point, these people were very close, and now they are not. We can say that they grew apart. Usually this happens because people's lives change, or people move to different places and lose touch. After high school, John and Freddie grew apart. They became different. Maybe they have different interests now. Have you ever grown apart from someone? Write a comment under the video and let me know.